Chapter 071. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Okay, so Kid's knocking on the table about this Naka Shinobi exam. It's giving me serious Chunin exam flashbacks, a total circus, right? Remember that one? Ape Fei, that old monkey, got shanked by Orochimaru, his own student. Mist Village, this is clearly a revenge play waiting to happen. Do I even need to sign off on this crap? Seriously? So, Kid scribbles a note, no room in Konoha for the Chunin exam. If you wanna throw down, go to Mist Hidden Village. Show them some love, maybe, but before you know it, the document's back in front of you Feng. Lord Kid, this ain't for you to doodle on, it's for you to make happen. Naruto-sama already gave it the green light. Yi Feng's like, facepalm. Guess I'm just along for the ride. Looks like good ol' Ape Fei set the standard for dying a noble death. Lord Yi Feng, the Mist Village delegation arrives this afternoon. We're kinda in a time crunch here. Time crunch? We're short-handed, aren't we? It's almost noon, where is everyone? What is going on today? Finally, after a little digging with a shadow clone, Yi Feng figures out the deal. Half the admin department called out and they're all Mito clan, dormitory clan, or Shimura clan. Basically, family and friends, nepotism at its finest. These folks, led by Shinto and Ryosuke Mito, the young blood from the dormitory and Mito clans, are taking direction from Akimichi Takefu, the former minister's right-hand man. Word got around that Yi Feng parachuted in as the new boss, so they all played the sick day card, those two guys downstairs. Just average Joes, no connections, too broke to skip work. Yi Feng puts two and two together. The big three are trying to shut down the department, make Yi Feng look like an idiot, and broadcast to all of Konoha that he's in way over his head. Oh, you wanna play? This shadow clone brainstorms a solution instantly. Short on staff, huh? 10 more clones, stat. Still not enough. Make it 20. Yi Feng, are you sure about this? Yi Feng's holding Kushina's hand, strolling down the street. There isn't much to do in Konoha, it's a ninja village after all. Kid felt that the life of a wood ninja was really not rich enough and too monotonous. Suddenly, Yi Feng stops dead in his tracks. Kushina's puzzled. Yi Feng, you alright? Yi Feng grins. His admin department clone just dissolved, dumping its memories back into the original. He knows what's going down. I'm good. Hang tight. Hands flash through seals. He mutters, how long can the card not change those new suns? Poof, star. 100 clones burst into existence around him. Heads up. You thought you'd get away with leaving the admin department empty? Report for duty, or you're all fired. Kushina's jaw drops as 100 identical Yi Fengs take off at a dead sprint. Passers-by stare, completely bewildered by the army of Yi Fengs. Yi Feng doesn't even blink. Grabbing Kushina's hand, he says, let's go. Kushina looks at Yi Feng curiously, and suddenly says, Yi Feng, or you can teach me the sealing technique. You got it. Yi Feng immediately switched to the name of the S-grade thing card. Vortex Ashi. The character card of the original Water Shadow White Lotus is temporarily pressed to the bottom of the box. Now that Koharu's death is basically it, if you don't get it right, you can still lead to the Wuin Village mission. Those 100 clones storm the admin department. The two remaining employees stare in disbelief. Is that shadow clones? Lord Yi Feng is insane. Guess being a badass solves everything. First thing 100 Yi Fengs do, where's the staff roster? If they're not here today, they're canned. Lord Yi Feng, hold up. Yi Feng smirks. Hold up what? If they're not working, why are we paying them? Would Konoha collapse without them? Highly doubt it. Over at Hokage HQ, Sarutobi Hiruzen hears about the drama at the admin office. The administration department is right downstairs. The Hokage office is on the highest floor of the Hokage building. Ape Fei shook his head with a smile. Okay, let him decide. After all, I said that the administration department will be handed over to him after that, but you can't backtrack now. And Shunyen, Mito, and Shimura, time to give them a slap on the wrist. Sabotaging Konoha just to throw a tantrum. Unacceptable. Meanwhile, Shinto, Ryosuke Mito, Ken Shimura from the Shimura clan, and some other young guns are kicking back at the local bar. Ryosuke Mito takes a sip of wine and said, Naruto-sama really can't see the situation clearly. The guy next to him nods in agreement. Exactly. What does he know about running the admin department? Jindo stays quiet, just chugging his drink. Everyone knows that night there was a big earthquake. Xiaochun, the elder of the clan, died tragically in front of his home, and heard that it was killed by a female spy from Wuing Village. Now the murderer is completely nowhere to be found. In fact, discerning people could see that it was extremely likely that this matter was done by Yi Feng, but they couldn't find evidence. Xiaochun died so depressed. The sleeping family is equivalent to being slapped fiercely, but there is no way to resist. The Mito family is in a similar situation, and their face is lost. On the other hand, Yi Feng, overnight, the fish jumped over the Dragon Gate, not only became the deputy minister of the Dark Department, but also parachuted into the administrative department. This made the three major families completely unacceptable. However, in the face of Hokage's orders, they could not openly resist. So they all took leave. Just when the Wuing Village delegation came to visit, there was no one in the administrative department, and naturally the most humiliating person was the newly airborne minister Yi Feng at that time. Things are messed up. Even Naruto-sama, there is no reason to continue to let Hokage stay in the administration department. Just then, two black-clad ninjas burst in. Ryosuke-sama. Mato-sama, dormitory and Mito clan ninjas, respectively, they whisper in Ryosuke Mito's and Shinto's ears, and their faces instantly turn sour. Jindo slams his wine glass down, shattering it. Yi Feng, that dog, the others get a bad feeling. Madukun, what gives? What happened? Face dark, he tells them about Yi Feng handing out pink slips. Everyone freezes. They were just trash-talking Yi Feng, now they're on his chopping block. Ryosuke-kun, Shinto-kun, what do we do now? Going back to the office feels like eating humble pie, right? But if they don't, Yi Feng really will fire them. Then what? As a minister, Yi Feng has the power to fire them because of it. Now, Shinto and Ryosuke Mito regret this. They didn't expect Yi Maple to be so strong. These related households did not struggle for long, and one by one they could only lower their proud heads and go back to the administration department. When they get back to the entrance, they're stopped by two Yi Feng shadow clones, standing guard. Didn't you all call out? Go on home. Don't bother coming in tomorrow. If you can't go, if you don't go, then I will ask you to go. Yi Feng, done with the niceties, uses would release to hogtie them and toss them out. Son of a Hokage, you'll pay for this. I'm going straight to Naruto-sama. You haven't seen the last of me, Yi Feng, the clone guards just chuckle. Yeah. Get out of here. Up on the second floor, a delegation from Mist Village is waiting. They had also just arrived in Konoha Village and were invited here. There are only 4 people in this mission, led by the strongest of the younger generation of Wuing Village, Citrus Yakura, who is also the candidate for the 4th generation of Water Shadow with the highest voice in Wuing Village. If Citrus Yakura succeeds in bringing back the 3rd generation Water Shadow corpse this time, it should become the 4th generation of Water Shadow. With such a level of envoys, Hokage personally came to receive it. It was still a bit of a drop in points. As head of the admin department and deputy chief of the ANBU, Yi Feng's the perfect fit. Besides, Yi Feng iced the 3rd Mizukage, the mist hidden ninja, are probably steamed. Perfect opportunity to knock them down a peg. Citrus Yakura slams the desk, glaring at the Yi Feng clone in front of him. Where's the Hokage? We traveled all the way from Mist Village. This is how Konoha treats guests. Yi Feng sits back, unimpressed. Chill. Hokage's not something you can just waltz in on. I'm handling this. You talk to me. You're going to talk to me. Who are you? If it wasn't Hokage's HQ, Citrus Yakura would already be throwing hands. As the strongest young gun from Mist, he came to Konoha already pissed. The 3rd Mizukage was weak and died at the hands of an unknown Konoha ninja. Now, he has to retrieve the body in humiliation, plus, the chosen daughter of Wuin Village, Zhao Meiyu, was also robbed. This is simply a shame for the misty hidden village. A shame within a shame. Kid looks at Citrus Yakura with a smile and says, "Oh, you don't know who I am? Did I just forget to introduce myself? Yi Kid, head of the administration department, deputy chief of the ANBU, and vice principal of the Ninja Academy. Oh, and I killed the third Mizukichi. Think I'm qualified to talk to you now?" Chapter 072. You are listening at novelfull.audio. As soon as Yefeng finished, the Mist Ninjas, led by Citrus Yakura, flew into a rage. "It's you." Citrus Yakura was still holding on to his temper, but the three behind him couldn't stand it. "Hold on." Citrus Yakura pleaded, but he couldn't stop his comrades. "Water release, water bullet. Water blade. Water prison jutsu," Yi Feng smirked. "A bunch of small fries." Instantly, the Hokage building shook. Massive roots and vines burst from beneath the floor, piercing through the first and second stories, forming a shield in front of Yi Feng. Bang, **bang, **bang, The ninjas' water-style attacks didn't even touch Yefeng's shadow clone. They slammed harmlessly against the thick, swaying roots. Upstairs, Hiruzen Sarutobi swayed. "Earthquake!" A dark-clad ninja rushed in. "Lord Hokage, the hidden mist village is fighting Lord Yokaide on the second floor." Hiruzen exploded. "They dare fight in the Hokage building? The hidden mist ninjas started it, but what? Lord Yefeng's would release just pierced through the entire Hokage building." Hiruzen's chest heaved. "After the fight, make them pay tenfold compensation." "Yes, Lord Hokage." Meanwhile, on the second floor, Citrus Yakura realized the fight was on and beyond saving, so he went for broke. "Water release, hidden mist jutsu." A thick fog rolled in, instantly filling the second floor. Visibility dropped to 0 in the whiteout. The heavy mist pressed in from all sides, making it hard to breathe. As Citrus Yakura cast the jutsu, the other three ninjas attacked. He was the one who killed the third Mizukichi. They had to make him pay. Even if they died here, they wouldn't let the hidden mist village be shamed. Citrus Yakura sighed. He knew they couldn't leave now. Konoha wasn't somewhere you just strolled away from, especially with the Professor Third Hokage upstairs. So, he had to take down the guy in front of him and worry about the rest later. If this jerk hadn't stirred them up in the hidden mist village, they wouldn't be breaking mission rules like this. "Don't kill him," Citrus Yakura warned. Ding. "Based on the host's current situation, I have 3 options. Option 1, annihilate them all. Kill the chickens to scare the monkeys. Reward, wind release, wind blade ninjutsu. Option 2, leave only Tachibana Yakura to set an example. Reward, A-rank water release, great waterfall jutsu. Option 3, take them all down, spare their lives, and show the style of Konoha. Reward, puppet technique, basic. Okay, I'll let you off." Yikid instantly wanted the puppet technique from option 3, blowing off the 2 A-rank ninjutsu, which weren't that appealing right now, but a puppet technique? Yefeng was intrigued, as he decided. Intense killing intent erupted from every direction. Water body technique. And their water release ninjutsu. Water gun. Water blade. Water wall. But then, a giant wooden head rose from the floor beneath Yi Feng, carrying him up. All the attacks slammed into the wooden head. Rumble, cracks appeared on the wood, but it held. Instead, it captured the 3 attackers. Citrus Yakura was stunned. He sensed danger and leaped back. A massive tree root burst from the ground where he'd been standing. If he hadn't dodged, he'd have been caught. Still, countless roots and vines lunged at him. Yefeng's shadow clone was using wood golem technique and tree creation jutsu, turning the first 2 floors of the Hokage building into a jungle, but using so much chakra was taking a toll, and the shadow clones at the entrance vanished. Citrus Yakura was sweating. horrified, was this guy crazy, completely disregarding the safety of the Hokage building? The Hokage was right upstairs. Yefeng, just as Citrus Yakura thought, Sarutobi was pissed. He never would have made him head of the administration department. His first day and he was tearing down the Hokage building. He'd never seen anything like it. Dormitory Shinto and Ryosuke Mito, still tied up at the administration department entrance, saw the giant wooden man in the jungle of roots and vines, their eyes bugging out, seriously, Lord Hokage is upstairs. You can't do this, bang, suddenly, a brick landed on the head of sleeping Real Fight, who cracked open his head and bled. Help, the tied-up relatives screamed. Before they could finish, the wooden man stepped forward, swish, Ryosuke Mito, who was closest, was crushed into pulp, the others screamed in terror, struggling to escape. It was terrifying. Meanwhile, Yokaid and Kushina were relaxing by Hokage Rock. This was the place where Yefeng and Joshinai were in love. Coming here let Yefeng recall the warm time when he chatted with Joshinai that evening. Joshinai took Yifeng's hand and unconsciously clenched it. Suddenly, Yifeng received the memory after the shadow clone at the entrance of the administration department disappeared, making him laugh and cry. It seems the first day of work in his own administration department was a mess. Yefeng didn't really care. This was the Hidden Mist Village's fault. Could he use this to trick the Hidden Mist Village? He suddenly felt like a genius. Just then, Yefeng whirled around, staring into the woods. A figure emerged, mysterious man in black robes. It was an Uchiha. As Yefeng spotted Uchiha Madara activated his Sharingan. Genjutsu, Hell Viewing Technique. Crap, Yefeng didn't hesitate. He pulled Joshinai behind him and unleashed Wood Dragon Technique with everything he had. It was Yefeng's fastest wood-release jutsu, a wooden dragon, 10 times larger than normal, erupted from the earth and slammed into Uchiha Madara, tearing him to shreds, bang, It was a shadow clone, Yefeng sighed in relief. He'd seen a young Uchiha Madara, which had scared the crap out of him. He'd thought Uchiha had used some secret technique to become young again. Yefeng, what's wrong? Joshinai asked, worried. She hadn't seen Uchiha clearly. Yefeng shook his head. It's nothing. He'd been too tense and had suddenly used all his chakra, canceling all his shadow clones. He was speechless with himself. Back at the Hokage building, Citrus Yakura and his team were tied up, whimpering and struggling. Then, Yefeng vanished before their eyes. They were dumbfounded. A shadow clone. We were beaten by a clone. At the same time, countless shadow clones vanished throughout Konoha, where they were resolving disputes between villagers, teaching the 7th class, and chatting with Orochimaru about reclaiming Terumi. Everyone froze. Kakashi, Obito, and Rin, who were laughing, suddenly saw Yefeng gone and looked devastated, especially Rin, who was tearing up. The teacher has been teaching us with a shadow clone. He's so disrespectful. Meanwhile, at the medical department, Orochimaru smirked. How interesting. Even I didn't realize it was a shadow clone. Somewhere in a cave, an old man with a tube stuck in his backside. As expected, Genjutsu is useless on him. Even using his worries about his sweetheart's emotions, it's no use. He's just like Hashirama Senju. This time, it was just Uchiha's test. Chapter 073. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Naruto, you owe us an explanation. The 4-member Mist Village delegation, led by Citrus Yakura, looked furious. Even Sarutobi Hiruzen was at a loss for words. Yifeng had just barged in, caused chaos, and left everyone else to clean up the mess. The Hokage building was in ruins, and people were dead. Who exactly was that person who got stomped into ground meat? And those legs that got crushed? It was a real bloodbath. Seriously, Yifeng, what were you even trying to accomplish? Hiruzen cleared his throat and said, what explanation are you expecting? You're the ones who trashed the Hokage building. I haven't even complained. Citrus Yakura retorted, Lord Hokage, we didn't do this. Oh, so the Hokage building just collapsed on its own? Hiruzen countered. It was one of your ninja's shadow clones. Citrus Yakura and the others were stunned. They hadn't expected Hiruzen to be so brazenly deceptive, even for the Hokage. I didn't see anything. I just saw you talking, Hiruzen scoffed. Right now, we're the ones holding you accountable, not the other way around. Just then, Yi Feng strolled in. Citrus Yakura immediately pointed at him, yelling, "He did it!" Sarutobi gave Yi Feng a weary look. Yi Feng just grinned and said, "I'll handle this, Lord Hokage." He walked up to Citrus Yakura and said, "First of all, that was my shadow clone. I'm not responsible." Hiruzen narrowed his eyes, thinking, this guy's even more shameless than me. Citrus Yakura's eyes widened, staring at Yi Feng. This guy has some nerve. Yi Feng ignored their reactions and continued, "Besides, you attacked my shadow clone first. It was just acting in self-defense. Therefore, you're responsible for compensating the Hokage building's damages." Lord Hokage. Is this how Konoha treats its guests? Sarutobi glanced at Yi Feng, then chuckled, "This whole mess is Yi Feng's responsibility. Here in Konoha, we each handle our own affairs. I'm completely in the dark about this." With that, Hiruzen walked off. The four Mist Village ninja exchanged bewildered glances. A Hokage like this, Yi Feng pulled out a ledger with numbers on it and announced, "You wrecked the Hokage building. The estimated repair cost is 5 million. Citrus Yakura nearly choked. 5 million tael. That's highway robbery. Back in Mist Village, a whole house only cost about 500,000 tael, and was probably bigger and better." The other three Mist Village ninja were equally outraged. Yi Feng smirked. "Can your Mist Village housing even compare to Konoha's? You're a bunch of islanders from some poor, backwater, third-rate ninja village. Konoha is the center of the continent, the top ninja village. There's no comparison." The Mist Village ninja were speechless. They might be good fighters, but they weren't exactly wordsmiths. Yi Feng pressed on. "So, you're telling me you destroyed our Hokage building and you don't want to pay up?" One of the Mist ninja couldn't help but blurt out, "But you're the ones who destroyed it. It's not our fault." "Really?" Yi Feng smiled thinly. Citrus Yakura, one of the strongest in Mist Village, with a 30 million tael bounty on the black market. "If you don't pay up, I might just have to turn you in." Citrus Yakura stayed silent while the other three ninjas started cursing. Is that supposed to be a threat? If that's how Konoha is going to act, then there's nothing to discuss. "We'll fight to the death." Yi Feng turned his smile on the speaker, and suddenly, the atmosphere became as thick as molasses. "You want to fight to the death? Then bring it on." Before the ninja could even react, he was instantly bound in what seemed to be rice dumplings. Citrus Yakura. "Yakura-sama." The other two looked to Citrus Yakura for help. Yi Feng ignored them and continued, "Pay the compensation for the Hokage building, and you can leave. If you don't pay, you're not going anywhere." "You." Yi Feng glared at them. "What? Still want to fight to the death?" The other two took a terrified step back as the ninja wrapped in rice dumplings continued to whine. Citrus Yakura took a deep breath and said, "Sir, Mist Village came to Konoha with peaceful intentions." Yi Feng nodded. "Then it depends on how sincere you are." Faced with Yi Feng's overwhelming power, Citrus Yakura, as the head of the Mist Village delegation, signed several peace and equality agreements on behalf of his village. These included Mist Village sending all its school-aged children to Konoha's Ninja Academy every year, starting this year. Mist Village also agreed to abolish the bloodline purity law within the Blood Mist policy. Joint ninja exams between the villages would also be implemented. Mist Village would pay 10 million tael in tuition for its students every year. Konoha and Mist Village were now entering a new era of peaceful and friendly coexistence, and of course, there was the 5 million tael for the Hokage building repairs, which Citrus Yakura would pay in interest-free installments of 1 million tael every year. In exchange, the Mist Village delegation could take back the body of the third Mizukage. However, according to Mei, Yi Feng wouldn't even let them do that. As Citrus Yakura left Konoha, the other 3 members of his delegation demanded. Citrus Yakura, why did you sign such a humiliating agreement? Yakura, you've disgraced the ninja of Mist Village. Yakura, what's wrong with you? Are you afraid of Konoha? That they all started calling him by his given name, blaming him for everything. Citrus Yakura chuckled and said, if I hadn't agreed, do you think Konoha would have let us off so easily? Humph, what's he going to do, kill us? Exactly. We're from Mist. We've never been afraid of death. Citrus Yakura, you've shamed Mist Village today. Citrus Yakura smiled and said, really? Water style, water break. Without giving the others time to react, Citrus Yakura executed the water prison technique. The 3 ninja were trapped in a giant water bubble, unable to breathe, staring at Citrus Yakura in horror and screaming. Yakura-sama, we were wrong. Yakura-sama, Citrus Yakura smirked. Water style, water breaking wave. Citrus Yakura spat a straight, ultra-high-pressure water column from his mouth, turning it into a sharp water blade that sliced through the 3 ninjas' necks. Their heads hit the ground, eyes wide, lifeless. Citrus Yakura shook his head and continued on alone. He had already decided that when he returned to Mist Village, he would tell everyone that Konoha had killed his 3 companions and forced him to sign an unfair agreement, and that he, Citrus Yakura, had been lucky to survive and, after much hardship, managed to bring back the body of the 3rd Mizukage. Back in the lab, Orochimaru reluctantly watched as the Mizukage's corpse was taken away. Yi Feng asked curiously, did you get anything useful out of it? Orochimaru shook his head. I haven't had enough time, but luckily, I managed to take plenty of blood and tissue samples. Yi Feng shuddered. Orochimaru stared at Yi Feng with hungry eyes, licking his lips and saying, Yi Feng, how about giving me some of your blood? Get out. Hee hee. Of course, Orochimaru wouldn't dare to make a move against Yi Feng now, so he just chuckled and started to leave. Wait a minute, Yi Feng said suddenly. I'll come with you. Orochimaru frowned. But I haven't taken your blood yet. It's best if you don't. Just 1 vial, how about it? Yi Feng glanced at Terumi, who shook her head vigorously. See? She doesn't want you to. Orochimaru sighed. Fine. Orochimaru wouldn't dare force Yi Feng into anything. Immortal Wood style was no joke. Even his teacher had said that Yi Feng was now likely the strongest ninja in Konoha. In that case, Orochimaru certainly wasn't going to do anything stupid. Ding. 3 options available. Option 1, firmly refuse any further interaction with Orochimaru. Reward, Secret Ninjutsu, Heavenly Curse Seal. Option 2, use force to make Orochimaru do your bidding. Reward, Secret Ninjutsu, Earth Curse Seal. Option 3, help Orochimaru rebuild his lab. Obtain Orochimaru's friendship. Reward, your relationship with Orochimaru becomes friendly. Obtain the Orochimaru scientific and technological knowledge base, with synchronous updates. The difference between the options was whether to choose a reward now or later. The current Orochimaru probably hadn't developed the Heavenly or Earth Curse seals yet, so, choosing option 1 or 2 would allow Yi Feng to learn the secret ninjutsu before Orochimaru. Yi Feng was definitely interested in Orochimaru's secret ninjutsu, but he was even more interested in a scientific and technological knowledge base. The Orochimaru scientific and technological knowledge base, that sounded like fun. And it came with synchronous updates. As long as Orochimaru continued to evolve, Yi Feng's knowledge base would upgrade, too. Maybe someday Orochimaru's research would reach the realm of the gods and open the door to a new world. Orochimaru would be like a tool for Yi Feng, helping him with his side hustles. Yi Feng could update his knowledge base at any time. So, Yi Feng smiled and said, Orochimaru, I can help you set up a lab. After choosing, a massive amount of new information suddenly appeared in Yi Feng's mind, technologies like genetic modification, cloning, cell transplantation, mecha engineering, and more. Yi Feng now realized just how many advancements Orochimaru had already made. He truly was the greatest scientist of the ninja world. Orochimaru asked curiously, "Why would you help me set up a lab?" An idea popped into Yi Feng's head. "Because we can cooperate." Orochimaru didn't refuse, but asked, "How would we cooperate? Tell me." "You can secretly track Danzo and collect information on his crimes." Yi Feng remembered that Orochimaru was a master spy, who had even disguised himself as both a man and a woman to break the Eight Tails Jinchuriki. With the clues Yi Feng provided, tracking Danzo shouldn't be too difficult. "Hehe, you want to make a move against Danzo? Why not just kill him?" Yi Feng shrugged. "I want to prove that everything he's done goes against the will of fire. That it's because of the will of fire that he betrayed Konoha. Why assassinate him? I'm not a killer." "Oh, really?" Orochimaru remembered very well that there had been 10 Root ANBU members originally, but none of them had survived, and the person who killed them was right in front of him, Third Mizukage, the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist, all famous figures who had died at Yi Feng's hands, and he claimed not to be a killer. That was some impressive shamelessness. Orochimaru studied Yi Feng and asked, "And what will I get out of it?" "The lab you need and the experimental materials." "Fine." In this way, Yi Feng and Orochimaru reached an agreement. The lab, of course, couldn't be built inside Konoha Village. It would be built on the outskirts. That wasn't a problem for Yi Feng, as he had just swindled 1 million tael from Citrus Yakura. That should be enough for the first phase of Orochimaru's lab. This lab was going to be a serious money pit. It was going to cost millions of tael for every step. Later, Hiruzen asked about Yi Feng's money. "What about the Hokage building repair costs?" Hiruzen had heard about the 5 million tael. Yi Feng blinked and lied. "Citrus Yakura promised to give me 5 million, but he didn't have any money on him. He didn't give me a single tael. He said that the next time he brought Mist Ninja students to take the Chunin exams, he'd give me 1 million first." Hiruzen stared at Yi Feng, incredulous. "He didn't give you any money, and you just let him go? So what do we do about the Hokage building now?" Yi Feng looked at the ruined Hokage building and said, "That's simple." He made a hand seal. "Wood style, Lianzhu house." Roots burst from the ground, instantly growing into giant trees that expanded the Hokage building into a brand new wooden structure. The original Hokage building had only been 3 stories high, but this new building was 6 stories tall. 6 floors. That's a lot of stairs. The moon hung high in the sky. On the edge of the dam outside Konoha, Shimura Danzo hid in the shadows, cloaked in black, waiting for something. Suddenly, a figure appeared. Danzo took out a scroll from his pocket and threw it to the other person. Under the moonlight, the Sharingan eyes were especially prominent. "This is all the information I have on Yi Feng and Kushina. As for the venue layout for the Chunin exams, it's still undecided. We'll talk about it later." Suddenly, the Uchiha looked in another direction. "Who's there?" A kunai flew out, *Shing, star. The kunai pinned a small, white snake to a tree. Danzo glanced at it and walked away without looking back. The Uchiha disappeared into the jungle. After a while, Orochimaru emerged from behind the tree, his eyes gleaming. "Sharingan." An Uchiha. Late that night, in Orochimaru's newly built lab, he told Yi Feng everything he had seen. He was also curious. Who was that person? Why would he meet Danzo here? Yi Feng smiled. "You want to know who he is?" "Who?" "I'm afraid you won't believe me." "Don't be ridiculous." "It was Uchiha." Orochimaru's eyes widened in disbelief. Chapter 074. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yefeng just chuckled. Orochimaru's eyes narrowed. "Are you messing with me? And seriously, you're saying Uchiha Madara is still out there? The guy who rivaled the first Hokage, Senju Hashirama, the god of shinobi, himself?" Without waiting for Yefeng to respond, Orochimaru shook his head. "No way, absolutely impossible. Madara died a long time ago, at the hands of the first Hokage." Then, he paused, remembering something. A secret, not widely known. After the battle at the Valley of the End, Hashirama secretly retrieved Madara's body and hid it in a secret underground chamber, but when Hashirama returned, the body was gone. Orochimaru had seen this firsthand in some of Hashirama's private notes. Swallowing hard, Orochimaru muttered, "Wait a minute, how long has it been? The first and second Hokages have been dead for ages. And Uchiha's still alive." Orochimaru stared at Yefeng, wondering, who is this guy? How does he know all this? Is he some kind of spy? Despite his increasingly radical experiments, Orochimaru still had some loyalty to Konoha, not yet having defected. "Anyway, Yefeng, here's something you might find interesting." Orochimaru handed him a thick file. Yefeng flipped through a couple of pages, his eyes widening. It was information on the Shimura, Mito, and Akimichi clans, core families known for their close ties to the Konoha Council. It detailed how future leaders like Shimura Danzo and Mito Toka had been stealing credit for missions, falsifying reports, and basically buying their way to the top. They were using money and connections to get promoted from low-ranking ninja to high-ranking jonin in less than 5 years, Yefeng thought, so that's why some of Konoha's jonin are so useless. People were cheating to get ahead. Jonin status meant power and respect. Many talented ninja from ordinary families were being passed over, their accomplishments stolen by these privileged clans. Entire squads' achievements were often monopolized by the family clans, even graduation exams and the Chunin exams were rigged. The pass rate for Shimura, Akimichi, and Mito clan members was over 90% year after year, while for everyone else, it hovered around 40%. It often took graduates from ordinary families 1 to 3 years to become full-fledged ninja, but the privileged clans? They sailed through the exams on the first try. People had complained, but nothing ever came of it. The families would just throw some money around and make the problems go away. It was all documented, all the data and information, right here in this file. Yefeng thought, this is like hitting the jackpot. Orochimaru had not only helped him monitor the council but had also delivered this unbelievable gift. Just exposing this mission-stealing scandal would create a firestorm in Konoha. Konoha was a ninja village, and every ninja dreamed of climbing the ranks, from genin to chunin to jonin. Completing C rank, B rank, and A rank missions was their goal, their badge of honor, their security for retirement. And now, these 3 families were corrupting the entire system. This was enough to destroy the reputations of the Shimura, Akimichi, and Mito clans. The next morning, at the Ninja Academy, Obito pointed at Yefeng, looking annoyed. "Yefeng-sensei, are you a shadow clone again?" The Yefeng clone paused, surprised. "How'd you know?" Obito burst out, "It's disrespectful. You don't even care." Rin just frowned. Kakashi was unfazed. He understood that jonin were busy, especially the strong ones. His own father would barely spend a day home before rushing off on another mission. Yefeng leaving a clone was better than nothing. They'd only realized it was a clone because it disappeared without warning yesterday. "What's wrong with a clone?" "Get over it," Yefeng said, flicking Obito's forehead. "If it's not you, I'm not taking class." Rin nodded in agreement. The Yefeng clone was speechless. He just grabbed Obito. "You're not strong enough to complain. You think you can boss me around? If you can beat me, I'll get the real Yefeng to teach the class." Obito, dangling in the air, kicked his legs and yelled, "I swear, Uchiha Obito, will defeat you." An hour later, Obito was face down in the dirt, only his head visible, looking utterly defeated. Yefeng crouched down, looking at Obito with a smirk. "Didn't you say you were going to beat me?" Suddenly, a kunai whizzed past. "Humph." Yefeng smiled and teleported to dodge Rin's attack. Kakashi had already anticipated where Yefeng would appear and was ready with a jutsu, lightning blade, Chidori. Since this was just a clone, Kakashi wasn't holding back. Obito watched Kakashi charging at Yefeng and grinned with glee, but his smile vanished in an instant. Kakashi's Chidori passed right through Yefeng's fading image. He had moved so fast that he left an afterimage. Yefeng reappeared behind Kakashi and grabbed him. Kakashi, reacting instantly, channeled lightning into his hand and stabbed backward. Bang. The Yefeng clone disappeared. Team 7 cheered. Rin stared at Kakashi, impressed. Kakashi, that was amazing, Obito sulked. Hey! Rin, I was the one who distracted the teacher, Kakashi smiled under his mask, even though no one could see it. Suddenly, a hand shot out from the ground. Ah! Rin gasped as Kakashi was yanked down, disappearing into the earth, leaving only his head. The Yefeng clone reappeared with a smile. Teacher Yefeng, you cheated. Cheated? What are you talking about? That was a substitution technique. No fair, the Yefeng clone chuckled. Don't blame your skills. You guys have made a lot of progress. Honestly, even a Jonin couldn't touch me. I only use one hand, and I don't even need to use Earth Release to avoid you. With that, Yefeng pulled them out of the ground. Kakashi said, Sensei, you just used Earth Release. Yefeng was actually pleased with Team 7's dissatisfaction. It was fueling their training. The changes in just a few days were very encouraging. In the new Hokage office, Hiruzen Sarutobi frowned, facing Danzo Shimura, Hamura Mitokado, and Koharu Utatane, leaders of the Konoha Council. Sarutobi, what are you planning to do about Yefeng? His actions during the Mist Village mission are provoking another war. Does he really want to destroy the hard-won peace and throw the entire ninja world into chaos again? Also, Koharu's death is highly suspicious. Danzo glared at Sarutobi, his expression dark. Sarutobi took a drag of his cigarette, looking at Danzo. I'm handling things my way. Now leave. Ahem, Sarutobi, Kid killed Toka Mito last night. That's murder. Yes, Naruto-sama, not only is Koharu's death strange, but Akimichi Choza was also badly injured by Yokaide. Tsunade says he may never walk again. Hamura and Koharu piled on, complaining to Sarutobi. Sarutobi glared at them. Enough. I was there. It was an unfortunate incident stemming from the Mist Village mission. Ryosuke Mito and Akimichi Choza sacrificed themselves for Konoha. Danzo, Hamura, and Koharu stared in disbelief. They all understood that Sarutobi was protecting Yefeng. Maybe you're not aware of the results of yesterday's negotiations, but thanks to the sacrifice of Mito Ryosuke and Akimichi Choza, Yefeng negotiated a deal with Mist Village that benefited Konoha greatly. We got everything we wanted. Sarutobi sighed inwardly. Yefeng made a mess, and now he was cleaning it up. Being Hokage was exhausting. Hamura and Koharu's faces fell. Sacrificing for Konoha, wasn't that the embodiment of the will of fire? They had nothing to say. Danzo said, Sarutobi, I hope you consider whether it's worth alienating these clans because of Yefeng. Suddenly, there was a knock at the door. Come in. Yefeng pushed open the door with Mito Uzumaki, and Sarutobi's heart skipped a beat. He sensed trouble. Danzo, Hamura, and Koharu scowled. Yefeng saw them and smiled. Uzumaki-sama, Yokaide-kun, is there a problem? Sarutobi said, hoping they wouldn't cause any more trouble. Danzo, Hamura, Koharu, you can leave. I'll give you a satisfactory answer. Don't worry. Alright, Naruto-sama, we'll be going. Danzo sneered at Yefeng, then turned and left. Naruto-sama, let's go. Hamura and Koharu followed Danzo out, ignoring Yokaide and Uzumaki Mito. The alliance between the three clans and Uzumaki Mito had shattered that day. Walking out of the Hokage building, Hamura said, Danzo, do we really have to wait until the Chunin exams? Danzo sneered. The Chunin exams? They think we'll wait. But I've had enough. I'm just waiting for the arrival of the Cloud Village delegation. Everyone will be focused on them. Hamura was surprised. Cloud Village is sending an embassy too. Ireo and the Amber Bottle are in Konoha. Cloud Village won't let that go. They'll be back soon. That's when we'll make our move. Can we? Danzo said, Menyen, you're a Jinchuriki. Besides, we have backers. Back in the Hokage's office, Sarutobi pinched the bridge of his nose. Uzumaki-sama Mito, Yokaide-kun, what's going on? Yefeng handed over Orochimaru's file and the information he had gathered from the administration department. Naruto, please see this. It's evidence of cheating in the ninja exams and promotions by the Shimura, Mito, and Akimichi clans. Sarutobi was stunned. He opened the file and began to read. His face grew darker with each page. This is outrageous. Sarutobi trembled with rage. He knew these families had some shady dealings, but he didn't realize how extensive it was. Stealing mission credit, falsifying reports, buying and selling missions. Who gave them the gall to do this? Sarutobi slammed his hand on the table. He had been planning to appease the three families, but now he didn't think it was necessary. Once this information got out, their reputations would be ruined. They were practically begging to be destroyed. Uzumaki Mito looked at Sarutobi. Sarutobi, these things are all well documented. What about the cases that weren't discovered? How much has this been going on? Who's responsible? Who allowed them to do this? If this keeps happening, what will Konoha become? Sarutobi, how are you going to handle this? Under Uzumaki Mito's gaze, Sarutobi trembled. He looked at Yefeng and said, Shursui Uchiha, it's fully responsible for this matter, from today onwards. And Chimu Shuamao, whoever tries to stop you will be executed without mercy. He handed over a badge representing the highest authority in the ANBU. After leaving the Hokage's office, Yefeng put the ANBU into full working order. Minato Namikaze left a clone at the Ninja Academy and left the school. The Senju and Uzumaki clans, who had been hiding in Konoha, with long changed names and surnames, also came out. Tsunade, Jiraiya, and Orochimaru, with their squads, appeared near the territories of the Shimura, Mito, and Akimichi clans. Even Danzo and Hamura felt that something was wrong. What is Sarutobi planning? Is he trying to force us to defect? What does Naruto-sama mean by this? The three families assumed this was all Sarutobi's doing, but with the support of Uzumaki Mito and the Senju clan, Yefeng, holding the ANBU's highest authority, now wielded power nearly equal to the Hokage. This day was destined to be explosive. To see the ununderlined version of the novel, please download Fly. Chapter 075. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ape Fei Ri stood by the office bed, watching the dark department members Yi Feng had mobilized. Even the Wave Feng Shui gate was involved. Black figures materialized at each house, task lists in hand, and began meticulously documenting every household in Konoha Village. These lists contained years of information related to the Shimura, Mito, and dormitory clans, specifically, evidence of wrongdoing by their second and third generations, as well as tricky task assessments from over the years. Besides the Dark Department, members of the Uzumaki and Senju clans, long integrated into Konoha, also emerged. At that moment, Sarutobi realized the true power of the Senju and Uzumaki clans. They'd been dormant, lacking a leader to command them, but now, that leader had arrived. Sarutobi's mind flashed to the young figure of Yi Feng. It's good to be young. He suddenly felt his age. On the street, many curious ninjas questioned the Dark Department about their records, wondering if a prisoner was about to escape. The Dark Department told them, we're documenting the Shimura, Mito, and dormitory clans' history of cheating for promotions over the past 20 years. They've been stealing credit, faking tasks, and buying their way up. This will be used as evidence against those clans. Over the past 20 years, the Shimura, Mito, and dormitory families weren't the only ones. Other major families also had such behaviors to some extent, but these three families had done it significantly more, and these three families had never faced any consequences. Instead, their power had only grown, far surpassing the Senju and Uzumaki, and even threatening to overtake the Hinata and Uchiha clans. Now, the Dark Department was finally making a move. Many held their breath. It wasn't that nothing could be done, but that the time wasn't right. Had the time finally come? Hearing the dark ninjas detail the information they held, stories of being robbed of credit, impersonated, and more by the Shimura, Mito, and Shuni clan's second and third generations, many trembled, some even broke down in tears on the spot. During the Second Ninja World War, I went on 3 A-rank missions with my teacher, all in the Rain Country. I killed 5 chunin and about 10 genin, but someone else took the credit. In the end, the war ended, and I was left as a jonin. The guy who replaced me was from the dormitory family. I was in the Iron Country battlefield, participated in an A-rank mission, and killed 15 genin and 2 chunin. Someone else got the credit. A month later, I went to the Wind Country again, participated in an S-rank mission, almost died, and someone else replaced me when I came back. I only got promoted to chunin, but I had to retire due to serious injuries. As the dark ninjas took notes, anger swelled within them. How could the Shimura, Mito, and dormitory clans get away with so much? Had Shimura Danzo, Mito Monoton, and Shun Koharu covered all of this up? Outside, the Shimura, Mito, and dormitory clans were shocked by what the Dark Department was doing. One member even grabbed a dark ninja, demanding, "Who gave you the authority to investigate us?" The dark ninja responded coldly, "Lord Hokage ordered it. Anyone who interferes will be killed." Blood splattered. The Shimura, Mito, and dormitory clans were stunned. While the Dark Department was a secret service directly under the Hokage's command, they had never treated the 3 clans like this before. What was happening? This was beyond their wildest imaginations. As a dark ninja struck, another quickly moved the body away. This is bad. Report back to the master immediately. The sky in Konoha is about to change. As members of the 3 major families rushed back, their leaders and high-ranking officials had already caught wind of the situation. What the hell does Naruto-sama mean? Did our 3 families do something wrong? Shouldn't this be discussed properly? What is Naruto-sama thinking, splitting Konoha like this? In the Shimura clan territory, Danzo emerged with a dark expression, only to encounter Orochimaru and his Dark Department subordinates. Danzo glared at Orochimaru. "What do you think you're doing?" "Master Danzo, I'm just following Yi Feng's order to conduct an inspection." "Yi Feng's order? Orochimaru, when did you become Yokai's lapdog?" Orochimaru's eyes flashed dangerously. "Master Danzo, what are you implying?" "Everything I do is for the public good, not personal gain." "What does lapdog have to do with anything?" "Humph." Danzo sneered and brushed past Orochimaru. In the Mito and dormitory clan territories, Mito Menyen and dormitory clan head Shun Xiaoming emerged almost simultaneously, their faces grim as they headed towards the Fire's Shadow building. Below the Hokage building, a crowd was gathering, filled with victims of the Shimura, Mito, and dormitory clans cheating. Sarutobi stood at the entrance, looking at the angry crowd, and raised his hands to calm them. "Everyone, please calm down. I also received reports today that some families have been obtaining promotion qualifications by falsifying information, impersonating others' tasks, buying and selling tasks, undermining the fairness and justice of ninja promotion and violating our legitimate rights and interests. We take this matter very seriously and will immediately investigate all clues and disclose the findings to everyone. We'll conduct a realistic, serious, and responsible investigation, and the results will be announced in real time. Please rest assured. No matter the reason, we will maintain a zero-tolerance policy, find the truth together, resolutely investigate and deal with the culprits, and never tolerate such actions." Sarutobi's words were met with cheers and applause. The 3rd Hokage had gained another wave of goodwill. But Sarutobi still frowned. This meant a complete break with the Shimura, Mito, and dormitory clans, but he had no choice. Such damning evidence was in Yi Feng's hands, and behind Yi Feng was an even more powerful force. Most importantly, Yi Feng's own strength was immense. In the end, the ninja world still revolved around strength. Sarutobi could only abandon the Shimura, Mito, and dormitory clans. He just hoped that these things had nothing to do with his 2 old friends, Danzo and Mito Menyen. Danzo, Mito Menyen, and Shun Xiaoming watched the crowd at the Hokage building from afar, their faces changing. So many people. Mito Menyen glanced at Danzo. "What now?" Danzo said grimly, "Let's go back." But as they turned, they froze. Yi Feng suddenly appeared before them, waved Feng Shui gate at his side. "Shimura Danzo, Mito Menyen, Shun Xiaoming, you have been reported in connection with cheating, and we in the dark department invite you to come to the headquarters. Xiaoming looked at Yi Feng and involuntarily shivered. Presumptuous, Yi Feng, what right do you have to interrogate us? Mtlnovel was the first to lash out. Danzo frowned and stared coldly at Ye Feng and Bufeng Shuimen. Was this something that Night Maple was engaged in? Who gave him this evidence? Bufeng Shuimen coldly took out the token and said, do the three want to resist the order? Originally, Bufeng Shuimen was born into an ordinary family, and there were many friends along the way, many of whom were talented, but gradually, his friends gradually disappeared. At the beginning, Bufeng Shuimen thought that those talented friends had become untalented and were eliminated. After knowing this, Bufeng Shuimen felt that some friends were probably destroyed by cheating. After he went to check it out on purpose, it was not some small friends, but more than half of the small partners, all of whom were victims. This made Bufeng Shuimen very angry. Although Bufeng Shuimen is envious and jealous of Yi Feng, but now he is full of admiration for Yi Feng. If it weren't for Yi Feng stabbing through this matter, he would still be in the dark. Xiaoming took a deep breath and said, besides, as the head of a clan and the elder of a clan, it's not your place to interrogate me. Naruto-sama. Before the words were finished, Yi Feng appeared above Shun Xiaoming and stomped on his head. Bang. You let go of your Geo. Bufeng Shuimen's eyes widened, but in his heart he had a sense of admiration for Yi Feng. Yi Feng Jun is really not afraid of authority, even if he is the head of a clan. He should catch. He should learn this momentum from Yi Feng Jun. Yi Feng said lightly, seeing this order, if you see the fire shadow, if you want to resist the order, don't blame me for being unkind. Yi Feng, you're so daring. Aren't you afraid of causing public indignation when you treat us old-timers who have contributed to Konoha like this? Have you put us old-timers in your eyes? At this time, many people discovered the situation on Ye Feng's side. Over there, Danzo and Mtlnovel. Is the dark part running errands? They won't want to capture Tuanzong, will they? Lie down, Naruto-sama, this is going to be real. Who is that fat man who was trampled? Let me see, that is the younger brother of the sleeping Xiaoming, the younger brother of the sleeping family, and the head of the sleeping clan. Lying trough, who is stepping on the ground? Dare to step on the sleeping master. Next to the blonde hair is the wave Feng Shui Gate, the younger generation of our Konoha village, second only to Lord Hokage. Lord Yi Feng, I know, I heard that he killed the 3 generations of Water Shadow. Yes, it's him, and he also killed the Ninja Dao 7 people over there in Mist Hidden Village, which is equivalent to our dark department. Hey, the black-haired one who stepped on the person was Lord Yi Feng. Wouldn't you? Absolutely, I'll see Lord Hokage. He was kind, as the head of the administration department, he personally helped me deal with the sewage problem at the door. This sewage problem has been 5 years, the administrative department has not been in charge. Lord Ye Feng took office on the first day, he personally took the stage. Yes, Lord Ye Feng is really young and close to the people. The land occupation problem of our house and the next door house, he also solved it fairly. If it were the previous administrative department, they didn't know that they would have to wait until the year of the monkey. Sarutobi Hinata was still enjoying the admiration and appreciation of the ninjas of Konoha Village, and all of a sudden, the ninjas villagers changed their style and praised Hokage. What's going on? Why did they suddenly talk about night maples? Yi Feng has only been in office in the Ministry of Administration for 2 days, and he has won so many popular hearts. Sarutobi was stunned, and then he saw the ninjas who had been gathered in front of the Naruto building, and all turned and walked forward. That was. Ape Fei Ri took a closer look, and his eyes suddenly widened. Ye Feng and Bufeng Shuimen went to capture Tuanzo and Mtlnovel. Sleeping Xiaoming was still trampled under the feet of Yi Feng. What's going on? Sarutobi hurriedly walked up, and immediately heard the words of the ninjas angrily cursing Danzo, Mtlnovel, and Shun Xiaoming. Yi Feng handed the ashen-headed dormitory Xiaoming to Watergate, shrugged his shoulders and said, tell you to go, you don't go, in this case, now that so many Konoha colleagues are here, let's have a public interrogation here in the square. Hearing this, Tuanzong exploded, how dare you? Yi Maple, who gave you this power? Yi Feng looked at Tuanzong and said lightly, the head of the family has violated the law and committed the same crime as the common people. As soon as these words came out, the surrounding ninjas shouted and repeated. The head of the family has broken the law and committed the same crime as the common people. The head of the family has broken the law and committed the same crime as the common people. The head of the family has broken the law and committed the same crime as the common people. That when Tuanzong saw the turbulent emotions of the group, his face suddenly changed greatly, and he suddenly had a sense of foreboding in his heart. At this time, Mtlnovel's face was gloomy, and the blue evil two-tailed chakra emerged from his body, and the tyranny of the two tails affected Mtlnovel's consciousness. I farts Nima. What kind of householder breaks the law and commits the same crime as the common people? Are you untouchables qualified to interrogate me? Mtlnovel? Saying that, Mtlnovel instantly turned into a half-tailed beast. Hey! Suddenly a low sigh. At this time, Ape Flying Sun Chopper had to make a move. The King Kong Rui stick smashed directly into the half-tailed beast Mtlnovel's head. Bang! With a loud noise, Mtlnovel screamed, took 2 steps back, and was about to roar. Rui sticks would split into dozens of Rui sticks, and then form a cube cage to trap Mtlnovel. Mtlnovel, you calm down first, bring it back. Faloo reminds you, 3 things to read, collect. Chapter 076. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Okay, here's the translated and adapted passage. Yefeng shot a look at Ape Flying Sunday. If it weren't for his intervention, Yefeng would have taken Mtlnovel down already. The sight of Mtlnovel's half-tailed beast transformation stunned everyone. They pointed and stared, and even kids started chucking rocks. Ah! You bunch of losers! Get off me! Watching Mtlnovel lose control, Tuanzong felt a chill run down his spine. Ape Flying Sun couldn't help but sigh. Yefeng was playing it straight, leaving Tuanzo and Mtlnovel with no room to weasel out of it. Yefeng, take them to the Black Ops for interrogation. With so many eyes on him, Ape Flying Sun couldn't afford to show any old buddy favoritism. A little slip-up like that, and his Hokage gig could be toast. He knew all too well that the crowd could build you up or tear you down. Yefeng responded, Hokage, with all the arrests we've made, Black Ops is packed to the gills. We should just do the interrogation right here in the square. Keeps things fair and square, and gives the folks in Konoha a chance to see justice done. Tuanzong had been glaring at Yefeng, but his eyes widened at that suggestion. Sure, he was the head of Root, but he still had some pride. Getting grilled in the town square, in front of God and everyone. Mtlnovel, just back from his tailed beast freakout, was furious again. The dark, two-tailed chakra started bubbling up all over him, then his eyes went wide as the seal on his stomach broke clean open. Bang! The explosion sent everyone scrambling. The two-tailed cat, Neo Yugaku, burst free from Mtlnovel's gut, smashing the King Kong rod cage to splinters. Protect the villagers. Ape Flying Sun barked the order and instantly whipped up multiple shadow clones, forming a wall between the villagers and the rampaging two-tails. Tuanzong scrambled back, his face sour as he watched Mtlnovel almost completely transform into a beast. Settle down. Yefeng flashed through hand signs, and a massive wood dragon shot into the sky, wrapping the two tails in a tight bind. Mean and nasty as the two tails was, it couldn't hold up against Yefeng for more than 3 seconds. Boom! Roar! The two tails roared a couple of times, but the wood dragon art held it tight. Soon, it was quiet again. Yefeng glanced at Ape Flying Sunday. He's way too unstable to take somewhere confined. He'll probably bring the whole place down. The square's perfect. Ape Flying Sun opened his mouth to speak, but just then, members of Black Ops and the big clans started pouring in. So many people. It's the 2nd and 3rd generation members of the top families. Here they come. Ape Flying Sun's eyelids flickered. Just then, Uzumaki Mito arrived. Trailing behind her were Uchiha Shona, head of the Hyuga clan, the Akimichi clan, the Yamanaka clan, and the Nara clan. All the heads of the founding clans who threw in with Konoha back in the day. Lord Hokage, we want a public interrogation. We need to show the people of Konoha that justice is being served. As one of the founding clans of Konoha, this behavior shames us all. We also expect Elder Tuanzang, Elder Menyen, and the clan heads to give us some answers. One by one, the heads of the elder clan spoke up, making their positions clear. Ape Flying Sun knew the situation was way too hot now. He couldn't afford to stick up for Tuanzang. Tuanzang, he said, something this big goes down in the village, and you didn't know a thing about it. Ape Flying Sun narrowed his eyes, looking straight at Tuanzang. Tuanzang just smirked. He folded his arms, acting all innocent. What happened? I have no idea what you're talking about. Arrested? Is there no law and order anymore? Elder Tuanzang, no need to get worked up. Yefeng said with a smile, we're here to give everyone a fair and open interrogation. We're here to look into the Shimura clan, the Mito clan, and some folks from the dormitory clan. We'll be digging into how they rigged promotions by swapping out tasks and stealing combat credit. Now, let's bring in the prisoners, one at a time. Yes, Lord Yefeng. Members of Black Ops immediately started hauling in members of the Shimura, Mito, and dormitory clans. The crowd went wild with whispers. After all these years, they're finally getting their comeuppance. Yeah, that's Shinosuke Shimura, head of the Shimura clan, right? And he used to be the principal of the Konoha Ninja Academy. If Lord Hokage really wanted to deal with the big clans, he would have done it years ago. Lord Yefeng's new to the job, and he's taking the gloves right off. I hear Lord Yefeng has a bone to pick with those families. Whatever the reason, it's about time. Ape Flying Sun might be the Hokage, but even he could hear what everyone was saying. Looks like this mess was only boosting Yefeng's reputation. The Black Ops guys dragged people up one by one, shouting out. Shinosuke Shimura, head of the Shimura clan and former principal of the Konoha Shinobi School, suspected of serious violations. All benefits revoked, and sentenced to prison. Transferred to sleep in real fight, violated Konoha's rules, impersonated S-class missions 3 times, A missions 10 times, B-class missions 38 times, the existing Shang Shinobi qualification was cancelled, dismissed from the interrogation department, and then sent to prison. Mito Ryota, violated Konoha's rules, impersonated S-class missions 3 times, A missions 10 times, B-class missions 38 times, the existing Sharingan qualification was disqualified, dismissed from the interrogation department, and then sent to prison. Hundreds of people were getting hauled off from the 3 main families, more and more every second. Even Sleep in Real Fight, stuck in his wheelchair, wasn't spared. Mito Menyen had just come to, but the sight made his blood run cold. He coughed up a mouthful of blood and passed out again. Tuanzang's eyes twitched. He felt like he was suffocating, staring at Yefeng like he wanted to kill him. More than 100 people. Almost all the top brass of the 3 families, plus the rising stars. This public trial was going to utterly destroy their reputation. You're a snake, Yefeng. You're trying to bring down our families. A nasty glint flashed in Tuanzang's eyes. If they wanted to break us, then we'll break the bottle ourselves. Yefeng, task swapping, stealing combat credit to cheat their way up, are our families the only ones doing that? Are you singling us out? Yefeng waved it off. Elder Tuanzang, relax. There's more. Then, Black Ops brought up a couple of people from the Uchiha, Hyuga, Akimichi, Yamanaka, Nara, and other families, no more than 10 in total. Yefeng then read out the crimes of hundreds from the 3 families. Uchiha, head of the Uchiha clan, said bitterly, I didn't know we had a rotten apple in our clan. The head of the Hyuga clan was just as sour. Our Hyuga family has let Konoha down. Our Yamanaka clan will never coddle wrongdoers. We Akimichi clan. We Nara clan. We Inuzuka clan. Suddenly, these families looked like saints compared to the 3 main families, 1 or 2 bad eggs in each, versus hundreds from the big 3. That's when Tuanzong realized Ye Feng was using this whole thing to target the three families while cozying up to everyone else, and with the support of the Senju clan and the Uzumaki clan, everything he was doing looked perfectly righteous. They had no room to push back at all. If Ye Feng was so strong, why didn't he just take action? Because that would be murderous. Ye Qid read out the charges one by one, destroying the reputation of the three major families in Konoha. Tuanzong looked at Ye Feng coldly, without any expression on his face, nor any fluctuations, and he could not see a single flaw. Tuanzong, he said, something this big goes down in the village, and you didn't know a thing about it. Ape Flying Sun narrowed his eyes, looking straight at Tuanzong. Elder Tuanzang, give us some answers. Yes, Elder Tuanzang, Tuanzong shot back, bristling with anger. I knew nothing about this. As a village elder, I've long put family matters aside. I had no idea they were pulling this kind of crap. But Hokage, this has been going on for 20 years. Are you telling me no one reported it to you? How could you let something like this slide? You're the Hokage, it's on you. Tuanzong turned the tables on Ape Flying Sunday. Now that everything had hit the fan, Tuanzong wasn't holding anything back. If you can't protect us, we'll take you down with us. You, Sarutobi took a deep breath, suppressing his anger and said, I, as the Hokage, have such a big thing happened, it is indeed difficult to escape the blame. The people of the administrative department blinded my eyes, but what is going on with you? Shimura clan, Mito clan, Transfer Sleeping clan, more than 200 people, Tuanzo said lightly. I am not the head of the family, I am dedicated to Konoha. Give up the position of the head of the family, devote myself to the work of those dark and invisible people in Konoha, and become the root of Konoha, all for Konoha. I don't know anything about the family, I don't even have a son. What responsibility are you holding me accountable now? Tuanzang's words put aside all guilt. He secretly thought in his heart that these cheating things in the family did not go through his own hands at all, even if he knew it and secretly helped, but on the surface, he could indeed put aside the relationship. As long as I get through this difficulty, I still have a chance. Everyone watching was stunned. Tuanzang's words seemed to be fine. Naruto-sama, your questioning is completely unreasonable, and I also have very many doubts. All these years, you have not even noticed at all. How the hell did you act as Hokage, and let such things flood? I think Konoha has rotted from the top. And the Great Snake Pill has done so many bloody incidents over the years. In private, it's not because the Great Snake Pill is your disciple, so you deliberately condone it? Those experiments, how many lives were killed? They were all people from our Konoha village. Yi Feng was stunned, and this interrogation actually provoked a confrontation between Tuanzong and Ape Fei Ri. Shouldn't Tuanzong be scaring himself? In fact, Tuanzong didn't want to scare Yi Feng, but he couldn't find Yi Feng's weakness. Yi Feng was unknown before, suddenly broke out, killed 3 generations of Water Shadow, ninja knife 7 people, negotiated the Mist Hidden Village mission, and now is looking through the cheating cases in the past 20 years, which is simply a great achievement, and Ye Feng himself couldn't find any shortcomings. This made Tuanzong stunned. There was no way. Tuanzong had to use ape flying to divert attention. Who let the apes fly does not protect them. Yi Feng did not expect that this interrogation would not only uproot the 3 major families, but also make Tuanzong and Ape Fei Ri both defeated. Are you going to be the biggest winner? Seeing that the scene was about to get out of control, Ye Feng still stood up. Shimura Danzo, the evidence of your collaboration with the enemy and betrayal of Konoha is right here. You still dare to quibble? Collaborating with the enemy rebel village? Everyone looked at Yi Feng. Yi Feng took out evidence, only 2 times. He provided the clues of the Big Snake Pill, and the Big Snake Pill found the evidence of the guilt of the group and handed it to himself. The Big Snake Pill is too lazy to care about this matter. In contrast, it is more fragrant to do experiments. When everyone heard Yi Feng's words, their faces changed drastically. Collaborating with the enemy rebel village. When Tuanzong heard Yi Feng's words, his face also changed greatly. When he was about to speak, Yi Feng directly tied Tuanzong up with a wooden dun. Woohoo! Tuanzong looked at Yi Feng in horror. Yi Feng said lightly, Shimura Danzo, let me finish talking first. Then, Yi Feng laid out the evidence photos of Tuanzong's secret cloud-hidden village one by one. This was taken by the big snake pill by squatting according to the clues provided by Yi Feng. As long as you are not blind, you know that these evidences are true. This also shows that Tuanzang is really a collaborator and rebel village. Tuanzong was still whining, with anger, horror, and unwilling looks in his eyes, mixed together, and the matter of his own smuggling in Yunnan village was obviously very hidden, and he was discovered. Then Yi Feng stared at the bandage on Tuanzang's head, and Tuanzong suddenly had a sense of foreboding in his heart. Also, the death of Uchiha Kagami, who is also Elder Konoha, is also related to you. You betrayed Konoha, and you betrayed your companions. It even took away the eyes of his companions. Yi Feng roared angrily and uncovered the bandage of Tuanzang's right eye, revealing the Sharingan eye hidden inside. The bandage that Tuanzong has been wearing reveals the mystery, and the audience is shocked. To see the ununderlined version of the novel, please download Fly. Chapter 077. You are listening at novelfull.audio. At this point, Danzo hadn't transplanted the Hashirama cell right hand yet, but he had gotten his right eye swapped for Shisui Uchiha's Sharingan. Eye transplants weren't exactly rocket science, even run-of-the-mill medical nin could pull them off with a high success rate. Danzo's eyelids were twitching like crazy, his right eye's Mangekyo Sharingan spinning, but he was totally helpless. It finally clicked. This was why those root guys had gone down so easy. This was how Yefeng had off the third Mizukage. Night Maple was just too damn strong, there was no resisting him. Genjutsu. Forget about it, and these damn tree roots were trapping him, sucking away his chakra like a leech. Danzo, you're a piece of garbage. You stole the Sharingan from our Uchiha clan, Kagami-senpai's Sharingan no less. Everyone gasped, looking at Danzo with pure disgust. Kagami Uchiha, a legend, right up there with Hiruzen Sarutobi in their prime. Then, at just 25, he died of some illness. When had Danzo swiped his eye? Sounds like he'd been digging up graves. An Uchiha member instantly flew into a rage, his eyes bleeding, and his Sharingan fully manifested. But he locked eyes with Danzo and immediately coughed up blood. Uchiha lost in a heartbeat. Kagami Uchiha's Sharingan was just too powerful. Give back my Uchiha clan's Sharingan, the Uchiha yelled, then passed out cold. Instant master, Fugaku Uchiha said, looking heartbroken. Lord Hokage, what is going on? The Uchiha clan deserves an explanation. Danzo, how could you? Hiruzen looked at the trapped Danzo, a tear rolling down his cheek. When had he and Danzo started down different paths? Hiruzen had said he was the leaf bathing in sunlight, while Danzo was the root buried in darkness, but was this the root? This was poison. Hiruzen steeled his gaze, determination hardening his features. He grabbed the adamantine staff and swung it down on Danzo's head with everything he had. This strike embodied Hiruzen's resolve to protect the leaf, personally sending off his old friend. It was the final kindness Hiruzen Sarutobi could offer Danzo. I'll see you out, old friend. Danzo watched Hiruzen bring the staff down and suddenly smiled. Hiruzen, you're finally going to make your move. Izanagi. Izanagi was a forbidden Uchiha technique. Except it was inscribed in Kagami Uchiha's Sharingan. For a brief window, the caster could turn any harm, even death, into a dream, and make any advantage, like an attack, a reality. It was a forbidden jutsu that could freely twist dreams and reality. The price? The eye would lose its light forever. Rumble, boom, Hiruzen's staff came down, a sky-splitting blow that smashed Danzo into a pile of mush. The ground cratered, the impact spread instantly, houses nearby crumbling into piles of brick and tile, some even collapsing outright. That was the full force of Hiruzen Sarutobi. Was that really the end of Danzo? Then, in an instant, the pile of meat reformed. Everyone's eyes went wide, and they stumbled backward. What is this? Danzo let out a cold shout and spat a terrifying wind blade from his mouth, ripping through the air with a chilling whistle straight towards Hiruzen. Wind style, vacuum wave, a Dark Ops ninja shouted out in shock. Watch out, Lord Hokage. Lord Hokage. Danzo's attack was too fast, catching everyone off guard, a lightning strike with no mercy, swish, the vacuum wave sliced right in front of Hiruzen. Hiruzen's eyes narrowed, and he immediately used the body flicker technique, but he was a hair too slow, and the blast tore a bloody gash across his face, blood gushing out to stain half his face crimson. Danzo. Hiruzen roared, but then his face changed. The vacuum wave's range was massive, cutting through the space where Hiruzen had been standing and slamming into the lower and mid-level shinobi behind him. Their faces went white as they stared at the deadly wind jutsu. Feng instantly jumped in front of them, hands flying through the seals. Wood-style, wooden dome wall. The defensive walls made of trees were shredded by the vacuum wave. Luckily, there were 5 or 6 layers, and the last one finally dissipated the attack. Hiruzen let out a relieved breath, glaring at Danzo. Danzo had already jammed his thumb in his mouth, bit down hard, and slammed his hand on the ground without a word. Dense runes radiated out in circles from his fingers. Feng narrowed his eyes, recognizing it immediately, a summoning jutsu. With the Vortex Kushina.As class character card Feng was using, he was intimately familiar with this kind of magic formation. Come to think of it, Feng also had a Dragon Earth Cave summoning inheritance he hadn't used yet. White smoke billowed up, and the ground trembled. The mist cleared, revealing a massive beast with an elephant-like head. The beast's head did look like an elephant, but it had claws for limbs, and its forehead was bandaged like Danzo's, making it look downright bizarre. That's Danzo's summon, Baku. The moment the Baku appeared, Danzo bolted. The Baku let out a deafening roar, then opened its mouth wide. Everyone, get down, Hiruzen yelled. Wood dragon technique. Feng reacted instantly, and a colossal wooden dragon burst from the ground and soared into the air. Wind style, vacuum wave. The Baku could use wind jutsu too. Swish. The wooden dragon was sliced clean in two. But it didn't affect Feng's wood dragon technique at all. The bisected dragon instantly became 2 dragons, and they twisted around the Baku. Everyone's eyes were wide. In an instant, Feng had subdued this huge summoned beast, and the Hokage had half his face bleeding but only knew how to talk. The way many people looked at Hiruzen shifted. Meanwhile, countless Dark Ops ninja were chasing after the fleeing Danzo. Wind style, vacuum wave. Rumble. Thanks to the summon, Danzo managed to escape. He hammered the Dark Ops ninja chasing him with his favorite jutsu, vacuum wave. It was 3 times faster now, a scythe of death aimed at the pursuers. Watch out. Get out of the way, rumble, 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 the Dark Ops ninja panicked, dodging for their lives, not expecting Danzo to be so strong. He hadn't shown his hand in decades, but now it was clear he was Kage level. His wind style was practically magic. Plus that giant Baku summon, he was truly strong. The houses, trees, and boulders along Danzo's escape route were torn to shreds by the vacuum wave, exploding in clouds of dust and debris. Luckily, since people were outside watching the trial, there weren't many people in those houses, and Danzo's escape didn't cause too many casualties. Hiruzen was trembling with rage. How could he not die? The Dark Ops ninja had chased Danzo out of Konoha, but still hadn't caught him. He was headed straight for the Forest of Death. Then, a golden flash descended from the sky. Danzo, you think you can escape with Izanagi? Shimura Danzo, stop right there. Minato Namikaze had arrived. Trees fell in rows as Minato's figure blurred, closing the gap between them. Danzo gulped. He'd fled from Konoha, and had already burned through a chunk of his chakra. He didn't even have time to think about the Baku he'd summoned. Suddenly, the sharp sound of something breaking the air echoed behind him. Humph. You want to use the Flying Thunder God technique? Keep dreaming. Danzo knew it was Minato. It wasn't exactly a secret that Minato had mastered the Flying Thunder God. Besides, Danzo was a student of the second Hokage, Tobirama Senju, and was already familiar with it. He saw Minato toss a kunai and knew exactly what was happening. Those were Flying Thunder God kunai. Wind style. Vacuum serial waves. A barrage of deadly vacuum waves overwhelmed the kunai, *bang, ***bang, Bang. For a moment, the air vibrated and the entire forest was shattered by vacuum waves. The kunai were all destroyed. Seeing that Minato was blocked, Danzo smiled, spun around, and ran. "You want to catch me? You're still green." But the moment Danzo turned, he froze, his expression rigid as he stared straight ahead. Yefeng was standing right in front of him. Wind style, vacuum bullets. This ninjutsu was the process of firing the chakra accumulated in the mouth like a bullet when exhaling the breath. This technique can continuously exhale short breath, like a machine gun that fires non-stop, and can instantly beat the opponent into a hive. *bang, ***bang, ***bang, The endless vacuum bullets ate away at Danzo's chakra, but missed their target. Yefeng had vanished. Danzo snarled, his body flicker. Is that fast? Then, a sharp cry echoed behind him, like 1,000 birds screeching, piercing and grating. Yefeng appeared behind him. Danzo only saw Yefeng now, and his face twisted in horror. "No, you're using the flying thunder god." Danzo spun around, his pale face washed in blue light as brilliant lightning filled his eyes. "No." Yefeng's right hand crackled with raw lightning, and he slammed it forward. **poof. Yefeng's hand, shrouded in lightning, was like a razor-sharp blade, piercing straight through Danzo's heart. The once great warrior choked, blood spilling from his lips, his eyes filled with disdain, anger, hatred, and a flicker of regret. He regretted that day he hadn't finished Yefeng himself, and instead sent 10 root members. If he had gone, maybe things would be different. The light in Danzo's eyes faded. "What kind of jutsu is that?" "Lightning blade." Before he finished the sentence, Danzo breathed his last. The darkness of Konoha was gone. Finally, Yefeng pulled out his arm, and Danzo's body fell to the ground. Then, behind him, with a roar, trees exploded and a golden figure appeared. Yefeng. Minato looked at the corpse in surprise. Why was Yefeng faster than him this time? "Minato, take the body back." Minato nodded immediately. "Right." Then, he realized, why was he carrying Yefeng's corpse again? This wasn't the first time. Yefeng. Minato was about to say something, but Yefeng had already disappeared. This. Minato was speechless. He glanced at Danzo's body and teleported it back to the village. When Yefeng returned to Konoha, Dark Ops members were rounding up the Shimura, Hamura, and Mito clan leaders. They saw Yefeng and greeted him respectfully. "Lord Yefeng. Lord Yefeng." The ninja passing by all bowed to Yefeng. Tsunade was working on Hiruzen's face. She couldn't help but marvel, when had Yefeng become so respected? Hiruzen saw Yefeng return empty-handed, and a spark of hope lit his eyes. Had Danzo escaped after all? Hiruzen's feelings for his teammate were complex, full of love and hate. As Danzo had said, Hiruzen was the light, Danzo the darkness, and the two had supported each other after the second Hokage's death. But at some point, Danzo had changed, becoming cruel, vicious, and even betraying Konoha. For his old friend, Hiruzen had hoped he wouldn't die at Yefeng's hand. Then, Minato returned, carrying Danzo's body. Hiruzen's heart sank. Danzo was dead. So be it. Hiruzen took a deep breath and said, "It will be announced that Shimura Danzo betrayed Konoha. His crimes were unforgivable, and he was killed by Yefeng. The Shimura, Mito, and Hamura clans will be investigated by the Dark Ops. Yefeng will be in charge." Tsunade was surprised to hear Hiruzen say this. Sensei's plan isn't just to calm Konoha, but to show his hand to Granny. This will raise Yefeng's profile even higher. His reputation will be compared with us, and it's only been a few days. Tsunade had no objection. It was perfectly reasonable. Yefeng represented the Senju, and Tsunade would support him fully, because she was a Senju too. On the Hokage rock, a figure had been watching everything. His Sharingan was spinning. Madara Uchiha had been watching the drama unfold but hadn't interfered. Danzo was a waste. He had viciousness, but no strength. Hiruzen wanted to copy the benevolence of Hashirama, but didn't understand what true benevolence was. The figure vanished. That night, in the depths of the Dark Ops headquarters, Hiruzen sat before Danzo's corpse. The guard stayed far away, afraid to eavesdrop. Hiruzen held a flask and said, "Danzo, you deserve to die. But there's no point in saying that now. We're old. We shouldn't be in the way of the young people." Hiruzen poured a drink for Danzo, spilling it on the ground, then he finished the flask and turned to leave. At night, Mito Uzumaki sought out Yefeng. Yefeng, the fall of the three families and Danzo's death were satisfying, but they also had a big impact on Hiruzen. He feels remorseful about what happened and is exhausted. He's spoken to the leaders of the 35 main families and is considering passing on the Hokage title. The third Hokage wants to gradually hand over responsibilities to younger ninjas. The mission from the Hidden Cloud Village is already on the way. I'm still giving you the task of receiving them. This is for your experience, so you have what you need when the third Hokage abdicates, and you take the Hokage seat. Chapter 078. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Dad. Asuma was surprised to see his dad, Hiruzen Sarutobi, at the breakfast table. He almost never ate with them, finally some quality time with Dad. Biwako smiled, waiting until Asuma left before asking, "Day off?" Hiruzen nodded. "Taking 3 days. Can you even do that? And trust those youngsters?" Hiruzen chuckled. "Sure. When we came back from the Hidden Cloud Village, things were just as hairy. Maybe. But we weren't dealing with kids as good as these kids." Biwako considered it. "True enough. If you think you can, you can." Danzo's sudden death, along with the destruction of the Shimura, Mito, and dormitory clans, sent shockwaves through the ninja world. It was a full-blown crisis in Konoha. Hidden Cloud was mobilizing, and Hidden Sand and Hidden Stone were getting antsy. The next day, Yefeng went to work like normal. Well, his shadow clone did, and that clone took Terumi, the Teak twins, and Yamato, the Root Reject, to train with Team 7. Even though the twins had been ripped from the Two Tails, Tsunade had managed to save them. They were still wary of Yefeng. After all, Danzo had kidnapped them from Hidden Cloud and brought them here. Terumi, on the other hand, was ecstatic. No more scary Orochimaru staring or blood draws. Now she could go to ninja school. She was happy. When Jiraiya saw Yefeng with the new group, he made them into a new team, Team 9. There had been a Team 9, the one Mikoto Uchiha taught, but after a mission, those 3 students had suffered some serious mental breakdowns. They were still in therapy after getting spooked a couple times. So, Team 9 was dissolved. Now, it was being reformed with Terumi, the twins, and Yamato. Then Mikoto, now studentless, showed up as an assistant teacher. Mikoto batted her eyelashes at Yefeng, chatting while the students trained. "Yefeng, how did you get so strong?" "Yeah, whatever." Mikoto kept at him. "You're a shadow clone, aren't you?" Yefeng frowned. "What's wrong with a shadow clone?" The clone was insulted. He was a dignified shadow clone. Was she looking down on him? Mikoto was taken aback by the clone's reaction. She laughed. "Sorry. Just curious. Yefeng's clones are so lifelike, I can't even tell." Of course shadow clones are real. Meanwhile, Team 7 and Team 9 had wrapped up their sparring matches. After the Land of Waves, Team 7 was working together like a well-oiled machine, and Obito's Sharingan was a game-changer. Yefeng never expected he'd change Obito's life so drastically. Obito with the Sharingan was the big brother of Team 7 now. Kakashi. Well, no matter how genius you are, talent can only get you so far when dealing with bloodline limits. That was the reality of the ninja world. Who cares if you made your own lightning blade when you're face-to-face with the Sharingan's genjutsu? Time to kneel. Yefeng was an exception due to his unique physique and immunity to control. That's why Madara lost to Hashirama Senju. It wasn't just about strength. Madara was at a disadvantage. Hashirama's cells are just unfair. You'd think would release was just that, would. But no. It came with genjutsu immunity, hell, even fire immunity. The Uchiha clan was known for their fire techniques, and Madara was their strongest. So, if he couldn't beat Hashirama, what chance did they have? After the matches, the clone gave his feedback. Having inherited all of Hashirama's skills, Yefen was qualified to critique even the Hokage, let alone these genin. Mikoto watched with interest, curious how Yefen would coach these students. In her eyes, they were all exceptional. Obito, Kakashi, Terumi, Yamato. They were just as good as she was. Rin's medical ninjutsu was invaluable too. The Teak twins were still holding back, though. Kakashi, your speed is great, but you're too rushed. Slow down. Let your teammates cover you while you wind up. The effects will be way better. Yes, sensei. Obito. Using genjutsu in sparring is just bullying. Work on fire release. Let me guess, you haven't learned it yet. Obito blushed. He had just been feeling cocky, and then Yefen called him out. Sensei. What are you talking about? I'm totally angry right now. Oh, really? Go practice then. Yefen wasn't trying to embarrass him. Mikoto was stunned. How did Yefen know Obito didn't know fire release? Terumi, you've got a dual bloodline limit. Don't just rely on boil release. And the twins. Your right leg's hurt, right? The twins were shocked. Sensei, how did you know? Your kick was off just now. If your right foot was fine, you could have won. Everyone got a lot out of the coaching session. Mikoto turned into a total fangirl, admiring Yefen. He was just too cool. The Shimura, Mito, and dormitory clans were mostly back in their own districts. Everything was checked. All three families involved in the scandal had been demoted to shinobi status, stripped of their public service positions, and ordered to pay Konoha 10 million taels each as a special fund for future ninja school students, specifically to educate commoners. Yefen's move won him a lot of goodwill from villagers and lower and middle-class ninjas. The Uchiha Guard, led by the Uchiha themselves, escorted the Shimura, Mito, and dormitory clan members back home. The Uchiha were secretly pleased. They had always been on the receiving end of guard duty, now they got to supervise the three major families. The Uchiha's opinion of Yefen went up. Some even thought that if Yefen became Hokage, it could be a new chapter for the Uchiha clan. Besides, he wasn't married yet. Sure, he was engaged to Kushina, but the Uchiha still thought they had a shot. At the same time, the Hyuga clan, and even the Akimichi clan, wanted to try a beauty strategy on Yefen. Yefen's shadow clone in the administrative department saw the Akimichi's beauty and almost spat out his water. The real Yefen was at home, asleep. He was lying in Kushina's lap, enjoying her sweet scent. Kushina touched his hair, her face slightly red. Why was he so lazy? Letting his shadow clone do everything. But at least he was with her. Kushina couldn't be happier. Leaving the day after tomorrow. Yefen nodded. Yeah. I don't know what Hidden Cloud is afraid of. They won't even meet here. We have to go to the land of soup. Kushina snorted and laughed. Of course. You killed the third Mizukage, Danzo, and the 7 ninja swordsmen. Everyone knows about it. Even the third Raikage, who's supposed to be invincible, would think twice before fighting you. The mission was originally supposed to come to Konoha, but now the meeting was in the land of soup, on the border between the two countries. There were tons of small countries like the land of soup between the big countries, acting as buffer zones to prevent direct conflicts between the major powers. But sometimes, those buffer zones didn't work, like when Kushina was kidnapped. The third Raikage crossed right over the land of soup and into the land of fire, and the second time, the third Raikage charged in again and got beat back by the third Hokage. This time, Hidden Cloud and Konoha were meeting in the land of soup. Yefen was leading Konoha's delegation. Have you picked your team? Yefen grinned, squeezing Kushina's soft hand. What about you? Wanna come with me to the land of soup? We can check out the mixed baths. Kushina blushed and glared at Yefen, embarrassed. Time flew by. 2 days later, in the Hokage's office, Hiruzen Sarutobi listened to a report from an ANBU ninja. Lord Hokage, Lord Tsukumo Hatake has sent a letter. The changes in hidden sand are likely related to the third Kazekage. Based on Lord Tsukumo's investigation, we believe the third Kazekage has disappeared. The third Hokage, smoking, stopped. The third Kazekage is missing. As the leader of a village, the Kazekage should have guards around at all times. Even Hiruzen had Anbu hiding in the shadows. If something happened, they could relay the information back to Konoha's leaders. It was odd for him to disappear without a trace. The disappearance of a Kage was a huge deal. It had never happened before in the ninja world. Any movement from hidden sand on the border with the land of wind? Report, Lord Hokage. The Chiyo clan controls hidden sand. They've been increasing their numbers on the border. We believe it's because the Chiyo clan has a long-standing grudge against Konoha. They may suspect Konoha was behind the Kazekage's disappearance. They might be trying to shift the blame to spark a war. Hiruzen shook his head. After all, Feng had killed the third Mizukage not long ago, and the whole world knew it. A regular shinobi taking down a Kage that made Feng a high-profile target. Hidden sand could easily suspect Feng was responsible for the Kazekage's disappearance. Now, the rumors were that Konoha specialized in training top assassins. 5 years ago, Konoha White Fang, Tsukumo Hatake, had killed Chiyo's son and daughter. In-law. Now, Feng went and assassinated the third Mizukage. Hiruzen asked the Anbu, is Feng leaving now? Report, Lord Hokage. Lord Feng has already left. Who's on the mission? Besides Lord Feng, there's Uzumaki Kushina, Kakashi, Uchiha Obito, Rin, and Minato Namikaze. Hiruzen frowned. I heard Team 7 are all geniuses. It's good to take them along for the experience, but Kushina. Why her? Lord Feng said he was taking a vacation with Kushina. Something about a hot spring. Hiruzen was speechless. And Minato? Are that many people really necessary? Well, Lord Feng said if there's a fight, Lord Minato can carry the bodies back fast. Chapter 079. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Just as Feng entered Soup Country, the system chimed in, ding. Analyzing your situation, here are 3 options. Option 1, sneak Kushina away for a visit to the most famous co-ed bath in Kuni. Reward, Kushina's affection plus 10, S-rank ninjutsu, immortal rebirth. Option 2, sneak Mikoto Uchiha away for a visit to the most famous co-ed bath in Kuni. Reward, Mikoto Uchiha's affection plus 10, S-rank ninjutsu, self-rebirth. Option 3, generously invite everyone to visit the most famous co-ed bath in Kuni. Reward, S-rank summoning inheritance, Mount Mayaboku, Kushina's affection plus 10, Mikoto Uchiha's affection plus 10, all S-rank rewards, but Feng's eye was on the summoning inheritance, Mount Mayaboku. He already had the S-rank summoning inheritance. Ryuchi Cave. What would happen if he mastered all 3 great summoning grounds? Feng was intrigued. The immortal and self-rebirth ninjutsu didn't excite him as much. Immortal rebirth was Orochimaru's soul-transferring technique for immortality, which Feng didn't need. Self-rebirth involved sacrificing one's life, a forbidden art to escape death, also unnecessary. So, Feng led the group to the famous co-ed bathhouse. A large sign proclaimed, co-ed bath. Kushina blushed, glaring at Feng. She thought he was kidding, but he actually brought her to a co-ed bath. And with everyone. Couldn't he have been a little more discreet? What was Feng up to? Mikoto Uchiha also blushed, glancing at Feng, wondering if he'd specifically included her. She imagined Kushina, a bit shy, saying, Mikoto, Feng and I are going to the hot springs. Want to join us? Mikoto's blush deepened. If Kushina actually said that, should she say yes? Kakashi gave Feng a speechless look. What was the teacher thinking? Lin blushed slightly, wondering if she should decline an invitation from her teacher. Obito looked embarrassed. Sensei, is this really okay? Despite being kids, the Hokage's students matured fast. The co-ed bath made them blush. What were they imagining? Hey, Obito, wanna check it out? Obito fidgeted. Well, it's not impossible to take a peek. Yefeng immediately said, alright, let's head inside. He paid the entrance fee. Obito perked up. Were they really going in? Bathing with Rin in the hot springs? The thought was thrilling. But Yefeng-sensei, Watergate-sensei, and Kakashi were there too. Awkward. 10 minutes later, Obito emerged, looking dazed. Yefeng grinned. Obito, tour's over. Let's go to the meeting. Kushina, Mikoto Uchiha, and Rin burst out laughing. Yefeng was teasing Obito. Obito looked dejected. He changed his clothes for that. But, no buts. Go study with Watergate-sensei. Yefeng patted Obito's shoulder and so, Obito was hauled away, grumbling. Watergate felt a pang of resentment too, despite his outwardly upright nature, though he was a proper gentleman. Seeing Yefeng with Kushina and Mikoto entering the bathhouse sparked a little envy. It hit him a moment later. What was Mikoto doing in there? And why was Yefeng, the mission representative, leading the team to a bathhouse instead of the venue? Watergate's resentment grew. Inside, Kushina and Mikoto, one with fiery red hair, the other raven black, stood before Yefeng in bath towels, faces flushed. Kushina held Mikoto's hand, looking a little nervous. Mikoto was nervous too. She hadn't expected Kushina to actually invite her. Honestly, Yefeng hadn't expected this either. He only intended to get Kushina and him together. Shyness had made Kushina pull Mikoto along. The plan for a couple's experience turned into a threesome. Suddenly, things got interesting. Yefeng had booked the place, so it was empty except for them. He knelt beside the pool, testing the water. It was slightly hot, milky white, with a faint sulfur smell. Truly an excellent hot spring. Soup Country lived up to its name. Come on in. Kushina and Mikoto nodded shyly. Yefeng thought, this isn't bad at all. An hour later, the meeting between Konoha and Kumogakure began in a newly built conference room. Watergate and Team 7 met the Kumogakure delegation. Kumogakure's mission was led by the Rakich's younger brother, AI, and his foster brother, Killer Bee, plus a female secretary, not the familiar black sister, Mabui. AI must have developed a secretary habit early. AI glared at Watergate. What did Konoha think they were doing? Sending a blonde and 3 kids. And the blonde said their leader was late. Lin was intimidated by AI. He looked so fierce. Obito glared back, not wanting to appear weak. The atmosphere grew tense as minutes ticked by. Obito whispered, Watergate-sensei, where's Yefeng-sensei? Watergate glanced at Obito. He's not late yet. AI scoffed. Humph, Yefeng isn't here. Seems Konoha doesn't take this meeting seriously. What is Konoha implying? Watergate began to reply, but the door opened. AI's expression froze as Yefeng entered, flanked by Kushina and Mikoto. This guy's better than me. He thought. I've got 1 secretary, he's got 2. Yefeng smiled, seating the blushing Kushina and Mikoto, then said, we're not late, are we? Obito looked at Yefeng, then the blushing Kushina and Mikoto. He wondered how great it would be to have one on each arm. If only he could be like Yefeng-sensei, he could have Lin on one side. Yefeng had corrupted the pure Obito. AI sneered. You're Yefeng, I presume. He'd heard Yefeng was strong but he looked unremarkable. Was this a Konoha trick? Luring out Yefeng? Watergate, known as the strongest of the young generation, was his goal. This meeting was a ruse. They didn't intend to negotiate for the 2 tails and the Kahaku no Johei. They planned to take them by force. The real strike would hit Konoha. The spy reported that the Sannin, Orochimaru, had left Konoha. Orochimaru was recently in the laboratory outside Konoha Village and did not appear in Konoha Village. As for Tsunade, her fear of blood after the Second Ninja World War wasn't a threat, and with Konoha in turmoil, White Fang was gone. By drawing out Yefeng and Watergate, Konoha only had Hiruzen Sarutobi to fight. Kumogakure had the 3rd Raikage and the 8 Tails Jinchuriki lurking nearby, along with thousands of shinobi. As one of the 5 great nations, Kumogakure emphasized ninjutsu and taijutsu. Previous Raikage could withstand space tears, terrifying. Kumogakure shinobi favored lightning, stimulating and strengthening their bodies for speed. those 1,000 shinobi could breach Konoha's defenses and retrieve Nibi and the Kahaku no Johei. AI smiled. Yefeng tapped the table. Kumogakure's being awfully sneaky. Planning a home invasion. AI's smile vanished. Killer Bee's eyes narrowed. What? The faces of the embassy staff paled. Yefeng's team stared at him. Home invasion. In the Forest of Death, just outside Konoha, thousands gathered. They'd infiltrated so easily because they'd killed all Konoha's defenders, but in the Forest of Death, they met an unexpected obstacle. Yefeng's shadow clone stood alone against thousands. He looked at the towering third Raikage and the eight-tails Jinchuriki with his half-black, half-white hair, and smiled. You guys made it. Kumogakure's faces fell. Yefeng's presence terrified them. Had Konoha known their plan all along? Were they leading them into a trap? Chapter 080. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Go to hell. Before Lei Ying could respond, a squad of hidden cloud ninja leaped from the shadows. They knew this guy, Yefeng, had taken out 7 ninja swordsmen, the 3rd Mizukage, and a host of new Konoha powerhouses. If they could take him out, they'd become legends, shaking the entire ninja world, and be hailed as heroes of the hidden cloud village. Even if they were outmatched, they figured the guy couldn't get to them all. There were thousands of comrades behind them. They could pile on him until he dropped. Concealing their chakra, they instantly surrounded Yefeng. The kunai in their hands crackled with electric energy. Lightning release, supersonic thunder saber. This jutsu channels lightning chakra into the blade, sharpening it to an insane degree. By using lightning to trigger high-frequency vibrations, its piercing power surpasses even wind release. It was a must-know assassination technique for the Hidden Cloud's elite. Yefeng grinned at the 6 surrounding him. In a blur, he dodged their simultaneous attack. The 3rd Raikage frowned. Damn, that speed. The thought barely registered before the 3rd Raikage's eyes widened, and he roared, get back, now. Huh. The hidden cloud ninja surrounding Yefeng were baffled. What was going on? Instinctively, they glanced at the ground. After all, Yefeng was rumored to have wood release, just like Hashirama Senju, and had used it to personally kill the 3rd Mizukage. They couldn't underestimate him, but Yefeng used the water release jutsu of the former water shadow White Lotus. Water release, iron bullet. A secret jutsu passed down through the Hozuki clan. This technique forms a pistol shape with the hand, firing a concentrated blast of water from the index finger with enough force to pierce through enemies, and this wasn't just a single shot. This was a souped-up version, a water-iron bullet barrage, with Yefeng unleashing a constant, intense stream of water bullets with both hands. Shu, asterisk shu, star.asterisk shu, star.asterisk shu, star.asterisk shu, star.asterisk shu, star. In an instant, the 6 hidden cloud ninja were riddled with holes, collapsing to the ground in pools of blood. You asked for it. Righteous thunder, wrathful thunder axe. The 3rd Raikage crackled with lightning, unleashing a monstrous killing intent. His legs became enveloped in raw lightning, and he leaped into the air, bringing his heel down on Yefeng. Boom. The 3rd Raikage's attack connected, but it was an afterimage. Yefeng was faster than the Raikage, having dodged the attack and now charging headlong into the 1,000-man squad. Stop him. Yefeng plunged into the hidden cloud ranks, as if he were facing a flock of sheep instead of 1,000 trained ninja. The first reaction of the hidden cloud ninja was utter confusion. What the heck was he doing? Was he trying to get himself killed? In the next second, 10, 20, 30 people were sent flying. Sweet. Despite Hashirama Senju's strength stemming from his wood release, his taijutsu was top-notch. The 3rd Raikage turned back, stunned. Yefeng tore through the crowd like a tiger in a chicken coop, sending bodies flying left and right. No one could withstand a single blow. This was unreal, right? Seemingly average punches, seemingly average kicks, yet the power behind them was insane. Everybody, get out of the way. The 3rd Raikage roared, and the 1,000 ninja scrambled to clear a path. But as they retreated, Yefeng gave chase. The hidden cloud ninja couldn't keep up. Feng kept smashing into the ranks, sending a dozen here, a couple dozen there, flying with every strike, *bang, ***bang, ***bang, *.1 against 1,000. A battle of pure taijutsu. Feng kicked one guy clear across the field, whirled around, and punched another into orbit. A hidden cloud Chunin charged forward, eyes wide, stumbling backward, completely speechless with terror. Feng's form grew larger and larger, filling his vision. With a punch, the Chunin fell, and Feng used his head as a stepping stone to leap into the next group. Feng was just getting warmed up. He leaped from the sky into the retreating crowd. A kick to the ground sent 3 ninjas sprawling, seriously injured and unable to move. Eat this, that a hidden cloud Jonin charged with a long sword crackling with lightning release, bringing it down on Feng. Feng sidestepped the blade, formed a pistol shape with his hand, and pointed it at the Jonin. The Jonin's eyes widened, mouth agape. Before he could utter a word, a water iron bullet pierced his chest. Ack! The Jonin clutched his chest and fell. Damn it, the 8 tails Jinchuriki, Fukai, seethed. In just a minute, Feng had taken down at least 100 people. At this rate, the hidden cloud village wouldn't even make it to Konoha before being wiped out. 1 man against 1,000. This was the strength of a Hokage. The rumors were true, but he hadn't seen him use wood release. This guy wasn't a descendant of Hashirama Senju, it must be a ruse by Konoha Village. In reality, he was a descendant of the second Hokage's bloodline. The strongest water release user in Konoha was none other than a Senju. The short period of time in which Feng was using taijutsu and water release had left a deep impact on Fukai and the Third Raikage. The Third Raikage and Fukai now thought that Konoha had deceived them, that this was obviously not the bloodline inheritance between the Thousand Hands pillars, but the blood inheritance between the Thousand Hands. Look how much he used water. Without hesitation, Fukai instantly transformed into a half-tailed beast, turning into 8 tails, with double horns on his head, and rushed towards Feng. At the same time, the Third Raikage also rushed towards Feng from another direction at an extremely fast speed. The two went in opposite directions and raised their right arm at the same time. This was their killing move, their combination of the Raikage and the human pillar force AB. Awesome Thunder Plow Hot Knife. The two of them use the Thunder Plow Hot Knife one after the other at the same time, so that the enemy has nowhere to run and strangle the enemy. At this time, Feng was still constantly killing the ninjas of Yunin Village, whether it was lower shinobi, middle shinobi, or upper shinobi, all were treated equally, they were all punched and kicked, and they were directly solved. Feng looked back and saw that the 3 generations of Thunder Shadow and the 8-tailed human pillar force AB combination had been activated, and the speed was as fast as lightning. Wood release, wood golem technique, that the wooden man had just come out of the ground, and the 3 generations of Thunder Shadows and the 8-tailed human pillar force had already smashed on the wooden man's body. Just a little, he strangled Feng. The wooden man put Feng on his head, allowing Feng to dodge this killing move that was enough to kill. Boom, the wooden man shattered instantly, a testament to the power of the peerless Thunder Plow Hot Knife. Feng's figure flashed, his head was lowered, he dodged Fokai's attack, and drilled into Fokai's stomach, and the 5 fingers of his right hand came out of the gold, wood, water, fire, earth, and 5 elements of chakra, directly inserted in front of Fokai's stomach. Sealing technique 5 element solution, that the 8-tailed chakra of Fokai's half-tailed beast directly formed the tailed beast chakra coat, but it still did not block the unsealing of the 5 elements of Feng. Feng's hand seemed to be inserted into a muddy mess, pushed hard, directly inserted into the deepest part, and pressed on the seal of the stomach of the human pillar inside. This is the experience of subduing all of the Thousand-Hand pillars, from 1 tail to 9 tails, and it is clear where the power of the human pillar is sealed. Even if you have the tailed beast chakra cloak, you can still stab it. Poke at the deepest seal. 5 elements unblocked. The seal of the 8 tails is unlocked in an instant. Roar! Fokai's tailed beast bomb was forming, ready to explode at Feng's head, but suddenly went haywire. Ugh! The half-tailed beast clutched his head and let out a terrifying roar. Even Konoha was rattled. The Uchiha clan, who were guarding the gates, were caught dozing, but abruptly stood up, one by one. What's going on? In the gloomy woods, a terrifying and evil aura faintly emerged, and the chakra of the vast voyage turned into a long smoke, came out of the woods, and swayed against the blue sky and white clouds. Eight-Tails chakra erupted madly on Fokai, consuming him. When the half-tailed beast becomes the full-tailed beast, Fokai would become the tailed beast itself. The third Raikage was furious, and his whole body erupted with brilliant black thunder and lightning. Thunder plow hot knife, asterisk boom, star. The third Raikage flashed, passing through Yefeng and smashing into Fokai, asterisk bang, star. Two birds with one stone. However, Yefeng's body dissolved into smoke. Everyone's pupils constricted. Even the third Raikage felt a chill run down his spine. All that damage, and it was just a shadow clone. "Fk, calm down," the third Raikage roared, but before he could stop Fokai, he leaped back. In the sky, golden light flashed, and the King Kong staff was directly inserted where the third Raikage had been standing. Asterisk bang, star. A huge explosion sent smoke billowing, and within the smoke, Fokai howled, unable to stop the release of Gyuki. At the same time, the third Raikage's hair stood on end, an intense feeling of danger coursing through him. He turned to see Hiruzen Sarutobi behind him. With a shove, Sarutobi sent the third Raikage hurtling into the air. His hands moved in seals too fast for the eye to follow. The title of professor was well earned. A shadow clone split into 5 in an instant. The original, plus 4 clones, weaving seals at impossible speed. 5 release, great combo technique. The original and the 4 clones combined, utilizing 5 different attributes, fire, lightning, water, earth, and wind, to unleash a devastating explosion. Asterisk boom, star. The third Raikage crashed to the ground, his body crackling with electricity, but it was clear the damage was severe. His body was covered in burns, frostbite, and gashes. Scars covered his body. Retreat. The third Raikage glanced at Sarutobi, Hiruzen, Tsunade, Uzumaki Mido, and the others, ignoring the enraged Gyuki and fleeing. Sarutobi wanted to give chase, but was attacked by the raging Gyuki, forcing him to retreat. However, Gyuki didn't pursue Sarutobi. Instead, it turned its rage on the fleeing Hidden Cloud Ninja. Yefeng had broken the will of the Hidden Cloud Ninja, scattering them. What made the Hidden Cloud Ninja feel cold was that it was just a shadow clone of Yefeng's. How terrifying was the real Yefeng? Sarutobi squinted, watching Gyuki rampage. Yefeng was right. The Hidden Cloud was planning a sneak attack. Another Hidden Cloud Ninja ran up. Lord Hokage, Mtlnovel is out of control. Niao broke the seal and ran away. Now there is chaos in Konoha. Sarutobi's eyes blazed and he cursed, "Return immediately." Damn it, Sarutobi turned and left, followed by Tsunade and Uzumaki Mido. Gyuki was important, but the villagers of Konoha were more so. Neo had to be suppressed. Thousands of miles away in the Land of Rain, where the 2 village missions met, the 4th Raikage glared at Yefeng, while his female secretary slammed her hand on the table and said, "Yefeng, what is the meaning of this? Since just now, you keep saying that our Hidden Cloud Village sneaked up on you. Are you deliberately trying to cause trouble? Do you want to start a war between our countries? Do you want to take on that responsibility?" Yefeng looked at the female secretary, and his fingers formed a pistol shape and pointed at the female secretary. Shoo! Water release, iron bullet. A shot directly pierced the heart of the female secretary. The female secretary glared and fell. She couldn't figure out until she died why Yefeng dared to make a move. Everyone was taken aback and looked at Yefeng in surprise. "Yifeng, what is the meaning of this?" The 4th generation of AI's whole body burst out of thunder and lightning, directly blowing up the negotiation table. "What do I mean? She talks too much." Yefeng stood up, pinched his shoulders and said, "Okay, don't drag out time with you. I'm going back to catch Yaoi. You guys, just grab it. _To see the ununderlined version of the novel, please download Fly.